Hey there, 8th graders. Welcome to this special Masterclass Explainer. Today, we are going to uncover the hidden secrets of reading. Have you ever felt like an author is trying to tell you a secret, but they just won't come right out and say it? Well, today, we are going to learn how to decode those secrets. Let's dive right into Faith and Logic, the art of literary inference.
So we're going to kick things off with a pretty big idea from Hebrews 11:1. It says, "Now faith is confidence in what we hope for, and assurance about what we do not see." It's actually fascinating how this massive life concept, faith, connects directly to reading deeply. Having assurance about the unseen is basically the ultimate form of reading between the lines. It's trusting that there's this profound meaning beneath the surface, even when the author hasn't spelled it out in bold letters.
And you know, that brings us right to this whole concept of reading between the lines. It's all about uncovering meaning that isn't stated outright. Because the really great authors out there, they rarely just hand you all the answers on a silver platter. They don't just write, hey, this character is super guilty. Instead, they drop clues, they turn you into a brilliant detective. Reading is this thrilling investigation where you get to put the pieces together.
Okay, so how do we actually do this? Well, the main tool we use is called an inference. Basically, an inference just means using clues from the text, plus your own knowledge, to figure out what is really going on. Think of it as a super simple but powerful equation. Text clues plus your amazing brain equals the hidden truth.
It's actually kind of like a formula, and we can break it down step by step. Step 1. Notice the details. A character avoiding eye contact may be a really specific word choice or a gloomy setting. Step 2. Ask questions. Pause and literally ask yourself, what does this suggest? And then step 3. Combine that suggestion with your own knowledge of the world. If you follow these 3 steps, you're going to unlock layers of the story you literally never knew existed.
All right, let's test this out right now. Imagine you're reading a story and the author drops this line. A character slams the door without saying goodbye. Okay, look at the clues. Slamming a door. 0 goodbye. Now bring in what you know about how people act in the real world. What does this suggest? I'll give you a second to think about it.
Yeah, you probably got it. The inference here is that the character likely feels angry or upset, and this just brilliantly illustrates how naturally you applied the formula. The author literally never used the word angry, but because you noticed that slamming door and combined it with your own knowledge of human behavior, you uncovered the unseen truth. Let's level this up with another scenario. This one's straight from your homework, and honestly, it's a highly relatable middle school situation. A student hides a test paper quickly when a friend walks by. What is happening here? Look closely at the clues. Hiding the paper, doing it super fast, a friend walking up. Run that through your mental decoder ring. What are you inferring? Right. The inference is that they probably performed poorly and are feeling pretty embarrassed. See how perfectly that works? By combining the text clues with our own knowledge, because, let's be real, we have all felt the sting of a tough grade at some point, we reveal the absolute truth of the scene. The action tells us the whole story. Now, making inferences is just the first part of our investigation. To really master reading, we need to make connections. There are 3 powerful types we are going to master today: text to self, text to text, and text to world. These are the secret keys to making whatever you read feel profoundly personal. Let's break them down.
First up, we have the text-to-self connection, and this simply means relating the story to your own life experiences. It's almost like finding a mirror hidden inside the pages of a book. When you read about a character going through something and you think, hey, I know exactly how that feels, boom, you've just made a text-to-self connection.
For instance, think about relating a character's nervousness before a speech to your own class presentation. If someone in your book has sweaty palms and a racing heart before stepping on stage, and you instantly remember being completely terrified before your big science project last week, well, that right there is the connection. It just instantly makes you care so much more about what happens to that character.
Moving on to the next one, text to text. This is when you connect what you're reading to another book or even a movie. Honestly, you probably do this all the time without even realizing it. Like, you're watching a new movie and you think, whoa, this villain acts exactly like the bad guy from that comic book I read. That's a text-to-text connection. It really helps you recognize bigger patterns in storytelling.
And finally, we have the text-to-world connection. This is all about connecting the text to real-world events. The absolutely crucial point here is that we are zooming way out. We're linking the author's ideas to the big picture of society, or history, or the news. Literature isn't just made up in a bubble, right? It reflects the real, breathing world we actually live in.
There's actually a great example of this from your homework. It's comparing a novel about pollution to real-life news regarding environmental challenges. If you're reading this dystopian fiction where all the rivers are toxic, and your brain instantly connects that to a news report you saw about air quality in a major city, that is a brilliant text-to-world connection. Suddenly, that fiction feels incredibly urgent and real.
So, you might be wondering, why are we putting in all this work? Well, combining inferences and connections helps you do 3 really massive things. It helps you understand character motivations, predict outcomes, and see the bigger messages. When you infer why someone did something, you start to understand their deep motivations. You can predict their next move. And most importantly, you see the overarching moral the author is trying to teach.
And speaking of bigger messages, let's shift gears for a second and talk about the core philosophy behind what we do here at the Academy Godly Learners series. We are all about intertwining biblical morality with education. We've talked a lot about logic and reading skills today, but true education, it is about so much more than just acing a test. It's about the why. It's about how you actually use that knowledge.
I really want you to hear this, because I believe it with all my heart. Education without morality will hurt. I mean, what is the point of being smart if you make bad choices? Just being smart on its own isn't enough. If you have all the logic in the world but you use that intellect to make choices that hurt yourself or other people, then what's the point? Intelligence absolutely needs a compass, and that compass is morality.
Which brings us to this really beautiful promise found in Romans 8:6-7. It promises peace of mind to everyone who keeps his or her mind spiritual. And this right here perfectly illustrates our ultimate goal for you. True peace of mind doesn't come from just being the smartest person in the room. When you align your sharp, educated mind with a spiritual focus, you don't just gain knowledge, you actually gain peace.
So, I'm going to leave you with this final big question. Will you use your educated mind and your spiritual focus to seek the unseen and find true peace today? Every single time you make an inference, you are practicing looking for the unseen. I challenge you to take that exact same skill and apply it to your faith and your life choices. Thanks so much for hanging out with me for this explainer. Keep looking beyond the surface, and I'll catch you next time.